So for work now, what are you doing? Are you in school?
I tried going back to school, but I couldn't get into it. You know, I was able to get my high school diploma in jail, but I mean, when I got out, you know, it was there sitting there, you know, on my bed. You know, my mom put it there. You know, like I'd be happy about it, but I'm not. You know, I should have been out in Costa Mesa High School. I should have graduated. I should have been with my friends, and I should have, you know, walked, you know, that graduation thing. And there's pictures of the graduation, and none of that means nothing to me. It means nothing. It means nothing because I should have been out. I should have been doing, you know, what a graduate should have been doing.
I'm going to say what his comment right now. I'm sorry, I have to say something because I feel like you're not giving yourself enough of your story. When he was in high school, he had no record. I mean, he was an average student, you know, attending church. He was a good kid. And what he was worried about when he went to drop off his bike was getting a ticket for not having a helmet. And he was going to hang out at his friend's house, so that's why he went to drop off his bike when he saw the helicopters above. And then he gets stopped. He's not identified by a couple of people, and the cops call over a hat that was miles away that was on the actual robber. They put it on his head. The person says, the face alone, I don't recognize, oh, but I recognize the hat. That was the only evidence that was against him in the courtroom. That piece of evidence, the defense attorney never challenged that. There was about 12 alibi witnesses that challenged the whole timeline, including a neighbor that saw him leave in the morning, the mom and the friend where he dropped off the bike, about 8 friends that were at the house, like they came out on the street. He was a block away from his destination when he got stopped, about a block away or so, right? Yeah. And none of those people were called to testify, none of them. You know, when Arthur was convicted and sentenced, he was desperate to get out, and you know, 2 years had passed, and you know, he doesn't share a lot of the horrible things that he was going through, and you know, he just was desperate to get out, and that's why the stipulation is basically saying that we're not going to sue you for I'm not going to sue you for civil rights violations. It was the Irvine and the Costa Mesa Police Department and the DA. That's what it says in there. I will not sue you, and your case is dismissed is the last point. For 5 years, he was walking with those 2 robberies still on his record. And the day actually he was released after signing that, the DA said something like, you know, stay out of trouble. So that's what a lot of the anger is from, is he was an innocent kid who had a helmet violation for riding his bike. That was the only thing that was on his record. And, you know, the DA's saying things like that, still, you know, 2.5 years of his life. And then 5 years later is still bringing up these 2 robberies that he never committed and trying to charge him for a 3rd strike for keying a car. So I don't know if that helps to kind of more seriously explain what he went through. Thank goodness we were able to clear his record, and now he's being charged as it should be charged, as a misdemeanor, and he's fully admitting that, you know, he should have to do something for that, but not, you know, 90 days in jail as a felony. And so anyways, I hope that that kind of explains the more serious atrocity and error that happened in our system to him. So. No, actually, I represented him on the motion for a new trial and was a community advocate after that. And Sidley and Austin, the associate Deborah Munns, who did a magnificent job on the habeas, had a sister that went to the church with Arthur. He was actually on a church retreat the week before he was arrested. And we had a series of press conferences and community meetings to raise funds, and it was at one of those meetings about a year after you were arrested.
Yeah.
All that. A year of a lot of community advocacy, and finally Sidley and Austin came in, and they were a godsend. And so they donated over $1 million in legal fees, and the DA basically gave up. The eyewitness recanted after the LA Times did a series of editorials for several months in a row just taking apart the case, and there was people, you know, there was grandmothers in South County sending, you know, may the angels protect Arthur, and trying to send him a lot of support letters. And it got a lot of press, and through that, the only witness that they had said, came forward and said, "Oh, I thought they found the hat on him. I don't, the face now I see better. I don't recognize him." And on the first day, after an evidentiary hearing was ordered, the DA essentially gave up because they had no evidence to present, and that's when they presented the stipulation.
I have a question.
Sure.
It seems that there was police misconduct in handling the evidence because whoever committed the crime, their hair was
Exactly.
off in half. Did anybody address the police misconduct? Were the police punished because they put whatever from him on somebody else's, or somebody else did it?
Well, it's my understanding that administratively, separate from his case, that those cops were actually on probation, and that apparently that they did get another mark on their probationary record. With his case, that's where the tragedy of his inadequate counsel came into play, is there was never a motion to suppress that identification, and there were 3 other people that identified somebody else that were never called to testify. So it was just one thing after another in his case.
Okay. I'm sorry. Is it a really quick question?
It was quick.
Okay.
Arthur, I noticed your tattoo, and it seems to be, if I'm not mistaken, Lady Justice with, is that money falling out of her scales? And I just thought, given your experience, I was wondering if there was any significance to that tattoo or how you came to get it.
That's what I view of it. It's upside down.
Yeah.
This is the way I show
Justice
people,
upside down.
for me, at least. Well, all my tattoos have to do with something, with what happened to me.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you for listening to me.
Show the camera
Oh.
what it's doing.